Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot.
This week on the Comedeorological Report, we have Johanna Wagstaffe from CBC News. Brandon Houck reports from the Brooks Broncos hockey game. Frankie MacDonald's back.
Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, Winnipeg. Welcome to the Comedeorological Report. I am your host, Joey Only. Comedeorology is a study that I invented called Comedeorology. It's the study of comedy and meteorology, a lighthearted look at the weather across Canada. You're hearing us on CFUR 88.7 FM Prince George Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And you're hearing us on CKUW Winnipeg Mondays at noon. Prince George, 95.9 FM in Winnipeg. Prince George, your weather is, you're in periods of rain Saturday and Sunday. But weather's going to look a little bit better through the work week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, looking at 8, 11, and 11 for highs. And look who's in the studio is Johanna Wagstaffe. Can you believe that? It's going to be a good show. Totally unexpected, but good to see you, Johanna Wagstaffe.
I know. I hope it's okay that I just jumped. I've been wanting to join for so long, but this is right when I have to put my kid to sleep. So we'll see how long this lasts, but it's nice to see everyone.
Hey, Joanne, I'm Frankie MacDonald. Nice to come in after the book.
I'm a huge fan. It's so nice to actually say hi in person.
So look who we got on the show already. We got Rosie Wijenberg just showing up, who's a biologist who is talking about old growth forests with us. We got Olivier, Forbes-Boullion, who's up in the high Arctic, and he's shaving right now. Johanna Wagstaffe from CBC, head meteorologist at CBC and head science person. Brandon Houck is in the radio station right now in Brooks, Alberta, covering a hockey game. And we have, of course, co-host Frankie MacDonald. Frankie MacDonald, how you doing?
I'm doing great so far. And hey, Joanne and Rosanna, I'm showing you guys a copy of my book, Be Prepared, to find out God, life, weather, and everything. Alongside of Frankie Del action figure, and I got to talk to find out bobblehead right from the National Bobbleheads Hall of Fame in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Phil Schuyler, he's the CEO of Bobbleheads Hall of Fame in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He designed that. And the weather in Sydney, Nova Scotia is pretty cool outside. It got windy but clear skies. It was cloudy earlier, and then it got humid air. They got rain headed for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Sunday. It's going to bring lots of rain and wind on October the 17th, 2021 on the Sunday, especially during evening hours in Sydney, Nova Scotia. In Vancouver, British Columbia is getting a lot of rain this weekend coming up. This is Frankie MacDonald, my own organization, live from Sydney, Nova Scotia. Heavy rain is heading towards Vancouver, British Columbia on Friday, October 15th, 2021. It's going to bring up to 50-plus millimeters of rain. It's going to cause a lot of puddles. The streets will be flooding possible in Greater Vancouver, British Columbia. There will be a lot of rain continuing on to Saturday, October 16th, 2021. I want everyone in Vancouver to don't walk too far. Stay away from the beaches and don't go near the shores. It's also going to hit Fraser Valley, Nanaimo, Victoria, British Columbia, the rest of Vancouver Island. I urge everyone in Vancouver to be prepared. Take caution. Don't walk through the puddles. Avoid the puddles. We go for a walk. Make sure your cell phone's charged, because the rain's going to be really, really heavy since a low-pressure system's headed towards West Coast British Columbia. That's going to bring a whole lot of rain in Vancouver, British Columbia, and the surrounding areas, including Fraser Valley. It's going to bring a lot of rain, heavy downpours. That could cause flooding possible. There'll be a lot of puddles in the streets. When you go for a walk, don't even walk through the puddles. Avoid the puddles when you go for a walk for people living in Vancouver, British Columbia, because the rain's going to be very, very heavy. It's going to bring heavy rain for the next 2 days in Vancouver, British Columbia, and the surrounding areas. People in Vancouver, British Columbia, be prepared. Have rubber boots, raincoats, and raincoats ready. When you go outside, you're ready to rain, you're ready to rubber boots, ready to raincoats to keep you dry. Order your pizzas and order Chinese with buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. Make sure if your Samsung Galaxy charge, Samsung Galaxy smartphone charge, Samsung Galaxy tablet charge, smartphone, cell phones, laptops, tablets charge, every 3G, 4G, 5G, LTE internet ready as well. If you have anybody living in Vancouver, British Columbia, be prepared for heavy rain starting on Friday, October 15, 2021. On the West Coast, they got really cold air heading for Ontario and things like that. And I'm driving all the way down to southern states and things like that. Over in, supposed to get a chance of showers next week in my area because of the cold air. And Sydney, Australia has been lots of thunderstorms. There's a chance of tornadoes in southeastern Australia, a possible large hail. Down New Zealand, it's been snowing in Otago region earlier. And down in New Zealand and South Africa, it's getting warmer now too. Same with southern tip of Argentina and Chile, because their summer doesn't start till December 21st.
What's going on in Russia right now, Frankie?
It's getting colder in Yakutsk. It's not that cold yet. It's going to get much colder next month. Yakutsk, Magadan, things like that. Egypt is getting colder too. Libya, Algeria, Morocco, and Israel, they're getting colder.
That's Frankie MacDonald. You can follow him on YouTube. 268,000 subscribers, the man himself. We have a full lineup on stage, but of course, I have to talk to Johanna Wagstaffe because we don't know how long we have you here for. Johanna Wagstaffe, welcome to the show, and talk to us about BC's weather this weekend and where it's going.
Yeah, thanks for letting me just hop on. I am a huge fan of the group and have always wanted to come in on these Thursday meetups. Hopefully the 2-year-old's bedtime will shift as he gets older, and I'll be able to do more of these. But yeah, we've got a lot going on the South Coast. Atmospheric river knocking on our door right now. Frankie, you mentioned this. We've got 75 to 150 millimeters in the next 3 days, which is pretty much our average for October. I know some of this, as you know, is going to make its way over into the interior, but the bullseye is basically right over Vancouver. But I thought it was interesting that the atmospheric river hit today, the day that NOAA sort of officially announced that we are in a La Nina, and there's an 87% chance that it'll, a La Nina, that it'll stick around through to February, a moderate to strong event. And we all know that there are no two La Ninas alike, but I liked how some meteorologists were calling this a double dip, because last year we were in a bit of a La Nina. We came out for the summer, and then looks like we're going to go back in. So always lots to talk about, but an interesting day for sure on the West Coast.
Explain to listeners what La Nina means for BC and for
the
Canada.
cold waters of the Pacific, and El Nino is warm waters in the Pacific. Means La Nina is in the summertime is more hurricanes in the Atlantic, less hurricanes in the Pacific, and El Nino means less hurricanes in the Atlantic, more hurricanes in the Pacific. Same with more typhoons in the Pacific.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's the equatorial Pacific waters, as Frankie said, shift every few years, and that changes weather patterns all over the world. And for us on the West Coast, it typically means a La Nina means cooler and snowier. And then the signal kind of wanes as you go across to the east. So Frankie, you don't have much of a clue, as much of clues in the forecast as we do for the winter ahead. And
that means, and then you got big snowstorms like Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska, and all those places in upper Midwest like Michigan and Ontario.
Yes, heavy storm track for the Great Lakes. You're right. So we know that we're in a La Nina. It usually means a good snow event for us. And I was looking tonight for the show
alongside with Colorado and all those places in Dakotas and Wyoming, including Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and all those places.
And we're already seeing it. I mean, it's been an early snow year for us. I'm kind of interested in you know, how early this is for the interior, but it seems like it's been cooler and snowier earlier than normal. But yeah, these are the best clues we have in the atmosphere when it comes to the season ahead.
Well, there was snow on the ground here in Wells today. There has been for about the last week already. It's been cold at night. Several days we've not been above zero, and if we have, it's not been for very long. Yeah, we started to see a little bit of melt, and I think with the specific weather coming in this weekend, we might see a bit warmer temperature at least. I need the snow to keep melting off these logging roads because I haven't got my firewood fully in yet, and it's early. Then I go down to Quesnel. It was 13 degrees there this afternoon. You know, that's what the difference in elevation can mean for weather. You know, we have a whole panel of meteorologists, so I'd like to invite you all to, if you have questions for, you don't always have a chance to ask a CBC meteorologist. So I'll give you a minute to think of some questions you might have for her. I'm just going to go to Brandon Houck quickly because I know he's been busy covering the Brooks Bandits game. How's it going, Brandon Houck?
Hey, it's going good. I just have to listen to two things at once, so it's kind of weird here. But yeah, we're up 2-0, and it's so far a great game. So yeah.
Tell us about what the Prairie should expect this weekend and the weekend coming up. Or the next week coming up, sorry.
Yeah, as we look back at the last week here, we had a pretty weird situation on Sunday there with the Pacific system coming in. We had that cold front come through, and we were 20 degrees in the afternoon, just making sure we didn't score. 20 degrees in the afternoon, and then we dropped to 3 in about just a couple of hours, and we had snow develop across southern parts of the province. So that was the situation on Sunday. We cooled down drastically throughout this week. We had our first really hard freeze, at least -10 for overnight lows. And now as we go through the weekend, we're warming back up thanks to that Pacific, that atmospheric river on the Pacific coast. That's going to allow that warm air to move back into the province of Alberta. And we could see temperatures near 25 degrees just for one day. Then we have another cold front coming through, and it's going to cool us down again for the beginning of next week.
Brandon Houck live on three radio stations simultaneously here.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. There's someone in my ear here. It's really tough doing this, but
Producing hockey games and dropping in with weather for Winnipeg. Just, do you have an idea what Winnipeg might be seeing next week?
yeah, they had quite a bit of rain last couple of days. I was on the Winnipeg station actually this morning, so that was fun. So we talked about the rain this morning, and luckily the snow stayed in Saskatchewan from Manitoba, so they just got the rain. And then we have that rain kind of sticking around till tomorrow, and then we'll start warming up again for the weekend. We might get back up to 20 early next week and then cool down drastically afterwards.
Excellent. Your weekend weather, Western Canada weekend weather update with Brandon Houck. Good to see you, buddy. We got so many people on the air, and what I did sort of invite you all to ask Johanna some questions while we have her here, but I also want to check in quickly with two people before we get to that. Olivier, he's shaving up right now. You're in Kugluktuk. How's the weather up there, and how was the Northern Lights show this week?
Hey, bud. So, yeah, thanks for having me. And I just want to say that after 4 years of living in the North, I have never seen Northern Lights this strong in my life, actually. So I wish I could go outside right now and show them, but they are not out right now. But that being said, it is like +2, +3. I'm above the Arctic Circle, and usually it should be like -20 right now. And we've seen negative temperatures probably twice this year so far. A big part of my job is dealing with climate change, and we see it here more than ever and more than anywhere else, I think, in the world right now. It's pretty scary stuff.
Johanna, do you have some analysis on the warm Arctic weather?
I mean, I've been, watching it from way down here. You've broken dozens and dozens of records, as I don't need to tell you, over the past week. It's just crazy the way the jet streams locked in the cold air over the west, but over the north and the east for the past couple of months, it's been the other side. So yeah, wild stuff. And I'm very envious that you saw those Northern Lights. That was a crazy solar storm that we even saw down in Vancouver, but nowhere near what you must have seen in the north. That was very cool.
Friends in Yellowknife that have lived there for 40 years, and they said that they've never seen anything quite like that in their lives. So, yeah, we got super, super lucky to see that. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm so lucky to have experienced it.
Can I ask what colors did you see? Was it just the green or?
No, we saw green, purple, yellow, a little bit of red. Like it was a rainbow basically in the sky. I can't even explain it. It was something else. I wish everybody could see that once in their lifetime at least, because it's something worth experiencing for sure.
The one night we had clear skies here in Wells, and I even thought about it when the moon was going down, and then I didn't go out that night. That was ridiculous of myself. Good to see you, Olivier. Please stick around and stick with us during the show. And if you have questions for Johanna, you got a real CBC meteorologist on the line.
Hey, you guys are the real experts on the ground.
I spoke to some elders up here, and they were telling me like 20 years ago this time of year, it would likely be frozen and they would be checking their fish nets. Like I could go swimming right now. That's how warm it probably is. So what's going on? Is it jet streams? What's going on?
That is terrifying to hear. Yeah, well, we know that the Arctic is warming 3 times faster than the rest of the world. Already in the past 3 decades, you've seen warming 3 times faster than the rest of the Earth, and that trend's expected to continue. What I think is really interesting is obviously the Arctic is the most vulnerable when it comes to climate change, but there's been so many studies connecting the warming Arctic to changing jet stream patterns all around the world. And it's because the temperature differences between the Arctic and the rest of the world is what fuels the jet stream and makes it go fast and carries weather systems quickly. And so when that temperature difference isn't as great, like you said, it's the same temperature up there as it is in parts of Ontario right now. So the jet stream doesn't have that fuel. It becomes loopy and ends up stalling out. We get heat domes. We get all the wild weather events. So, more than one reason to figure out how to tackle climate change, basically.
I want to say hi to Rosanna Wijenberg, who was on the show a couple weeks ago. You've been to Fairy Creek this week. No, you haven't? You're muted right now.
No, I have not been to Fairy Creek this week. I have not been there since last October, and I am heading back down next week. I have been focusing most of my work on the interior and like the old growth that we have here. That being said, I'm going down next week, but we also have a lot of events happening up here with regards to old growth and lots of really scary logging that is going on right now up near Revelstoke. So. Well, I've been spending a little bit of time up at Revelstoke where they also have a blockade. It's small because the distances are so large and they're really remote. Like the one blockade they have is protecting a small valley called the Argonaut Valley. It's unlogged, super steep access. And so there's been a blockade up at the Big Mouth FSR, 120 kilometers north of Revelstoke. It's just one small valley up a bigger valley called the Big Mouth that has been completely cleared out. Up there's also a valley called Downey, which was massive and was part of a park proposal like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. And before the park proposal was even really put in, they just cleared out massive old growth. My focus right now is an area called Frisbee, where a bunch of plots have been traded out. 7,000 hectares of old growth. It's still in the old growth management area, but it's actively being logged because it was traded in hopes of, well, it wasn't traded. What happened was 10,000 hectares was put into caribou protection for a more viable herd than is at the Frisbee. Frisbee has 6 animals. It's not a viable herd. They're all females. There's active snowmobiling everywhere. It's just a really challenging area. But there was a loophole that I don't quite understand that allowed basically the BC timber sales lost. They lost a bunch through that caribou protection. And so it opened up a bunch of the old growth management areas to logging. I went last weekend and looked at 6 different blocks that are slated for logging. They're not approved yet, but they are all blocked out. Roads are mapped, or roads are tagged into the areas, and the roads go directly into the biggest trees. So I was able to get directly into 3 of the sites, and they were trees that would not necessarily be considered big by the coast and definitely not big enough to be covered by regulations that would protect big trees. We found caribou droppings. There were about like 2.7 meters DBH and really great habitat. And this is a really fragmented area, but there is still some connectivity between habitat for animals to travel and whatnot. So my focus is there. I'm going back there this weekend to measure some more trees and do some more scouting with people from the blockade, because it's open to winter logging and we're worried about those areas being winter logged. So yeah, there's some talk of moving the blockade there. So we'll see what happens with that. And there's some events happening too. You want to hear about them?
Yes.
We have an event on Saturday that's happening in Nelson. Some old, start of the blockade forest defenders have come up. Rainbow Eyes and Glen Reed are coming up to visit. So there's going to be a protest at the courthouse in Nelson on Saturday. There's going to be an event the following weekend of October in Revelstoke in support of the blockade. We're going to hopefully have some surprise guests that are, pretty much world renowned at this point. In my own town of Ymir, we're going to have a Ymir watershed. Our watershed is being threatened with logging. We're going to have an appreciation and basically thank you to our town for being so supportive. We've been able to keep logging happening from our watershed so far. And just the Revelstoke blockade needs people. It's really hard and really far out. We got a blockade through the winter. Tons of winter logging happens up in our area. So if anybody's feeling like they want a blockade, and they can't get down to the coast, Revelstoke's the place to go.
What is the link between climate change and deforestation?
And deforestation, well, my work a lot of what I've been doing, I'm just a data collecting monkey at this point for a lot of climate change studies that are happening from the ministry and whatnot and other agencies, looking at drought, looking at post-fire regeneration, looking at my primary focus is looking at pest incidents in forests. And so I've been looking at young pine stands, old growth, just trying to see what's happening with them after, like, during climate change. And it's not looking good. There's drought throughout our forests. Like, pine beetle was big, but we have Douglas fir beetle, we have spruce beetle, we've got subalpine fir is being attacked by beetle. So, and that's all increasing. And that's increasing all over the world. The little wood boring beetles, they're just killing off mass amounts of trees, and little beetles that may not have necessarily caused so much damage in the past, like Douglas fir beetle, are now able to breed faster, are able to survive winters, are able to take out healthy trees where before they may have just taken out like drought stressed damaged trees, but our whole forests are drought stressed. So they're much more susceptible.
Johanna Wagstaffe, just what do you have some thoughts on the link of climate change and deforestation?
I could listen to you talk about. I feel like I need to ask you to be part of a future CBC story. It's interesting work that you're doing. I mean, you probably know more about this than I do, but I mean, huge connections, and there's so much science right now. There's so much science connecting the fact that we already need to be planning and planting trees for a warmer future. And we know that, I mean, the heat dome this summer was such a snapshot of what we're going to see more of and the kind of stresses that our trees are going to be under. I don't even think we fully understand what that heat dome did to our trees. I know there's lots of studies happening right now. And now that we're getting into these big rain events, especially this one this weekend, I think there's some talk that the root systems are just so much more unstable because of that heat dome this summer. So more trees coming down, more landslide hazards. The trickle down effects are pretty scary, but at least there's some good science happening. And I'm gonna have to run out. I've got the 2-year-old asking me to put him to bed, but it was so nice to see everyone, and hope to see you on future Thursdays. Take care.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, Johanna Wagstaffe.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Johanna Wagstaffe from CBC News. Good to have her on the Comedeorological Report, as you hear on CFUR 88.7 FM, 95.9 FM, CKUW in Winnipeg. There's so many people I haven't got to yet. We have Imogen Cookie Bailley. We still have Gabriel Berardo on the line. We have Karen Richards from Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers Group, my friend in Prince George. Who wants to go next?
You know, I feel like it would have been inappropriate. Hold on, let me fix that.
Oh,
there's like a big echo going on. I don't know if it's just my screen or not, but
it's still there.
Yeah. yeah. Let's see. Like, I don't really know if anybody else is experiencing it but me, but
no, we're experiencing it.
Okay. That was still happening. Ning.
Imogen Cookie Bailley dressed as Duff Man down in Victoria, British Columbia. How's your week going?
Pretty awesome. Duff Man will say anything. Oh yeah. It's wet, it's rainy, it's a perfect day to stay inside and enjoy an ice cold Duff.
What the hell's Duff? I never heard of it before.
That's the fictional beer from The Simpsons.
Oh,
that's right. This version, for anyone who can see this, it's a novelty one. It's an energy drink because they were not going to market an alcoholic beverage as a cartoon. Although South Park did quite a long time ago with Dude Beer, probably about 10, 15 years ago.
It's a alcoholic beverage during fictional universe. It's not a reality. It's fictional.
Duff Beer, you are correct. Dude Beer from South Park did have a short run where you could buy it at the liquor stores and buy it at a lot of pubs.
It was
there was a Dude Beer that was made in Prince George at
was it?
Pacific Pilsner breweries there.
Awesome. I never knew where it was made, but
PWB.
Yes, PWB, that's the place. Hey, Karen Richard, how's the weather in Prince George been for you?
Beverage into a
glass. It's been like super fun.
this whole week. Snow, rain, hail, wind, a lot of freaking wind here lately. Just insane winds, and cold at night. Cold.
There are places like in the southern states and central states, they get golf ball size hail during tornado season, baseball size hail, tennis ball size hail, or even softball or grapefruit size hail.
Grapefruit sized hail.
Karen's one of the moderators on Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers, a group on Facebook that I started and has 13,500 subscribers. Just wondering, Karen, if any stories have stuck out in your mind over the last few weeks that you've seen come across the group.
I mean, the major one, the Northern Lights. And that has been the most epic one lately. I mean, early snowfall, it happens. It hasn't stick around, but yeah, it was the Northern Lights stories, big time.
Good to see you. Stick around and join the conversation. We'll open it up in a minute, but I think the last person we haven't really introduced yet is Gabriel Berardo. How's the weather in Southern Ontario?
We haven't really had our first snowfall yet, and it will not likely be probably until next month. It's just been pretty mild, like temperatures in like the low 20s recently. We have some rain moving in, I think, later on. It's just been quite quiet, right? Like there's no active weather really happening.
How's the tree colors?
Most of them are now starting to change outside, going for, drives, and you could actually see like a lot of leaves are on, like the ground has fallen. But other than like that, I mean, it's just been pretty mild. Temperatures though will be cooling down past on Friday, heading into this weekend, heading into next week, into the mid-teens actually. So it will be much cooler. Not actually much cooler, probably like a 5 or 6 degree difference. It's just been pretty quiet. There ain't no big storms like Karen is talking about, all this wind and hail, like, oh my gosh. And I'm just over here seeing some like light, like rain, I think, is on the way. It's nothing too big, but it's been warm in the daytime and it's been warm in the night also too, but that will actually change. And I actually, of course, like the change because I don't like to sleep in like, warm or slightly kind of humid weather. I hate it. So, but I mean,
y'all keep your bedroom like a crypt, don't ya?
Well, I mean, look, my screen is all blurred right now because I like to do that. I think it's fun. It makes me kind of stand out more than the room because, I mean, look, I look at like Imogen's room and you have all those posters on there. Like, man, I'm always just looking at that. Like Imogen with those posters, like every single wall inside her house is either a movie poster, Halloween, rat, cat, skeleton, whatever. And I mean, always her in a different costume. Either it's a spacesuit, either it's a monkey. I don't even know what the hell she wore in every single show, but it's nice. It's just like a cool look to see her in that.
I have never been a monkey. Get your hands off my identity, you damn dirty ape.
No. Yeah,
you have a weather wrap for us this week.
Sadly not. I wasn't really ready for one this week. But what I actually could tell you is that I just got back from watching the recent Halloween movie, so that was really cool. Comes out on Friday. Actually, we got to see it. Like, we actually, of course, got to the first viewing of it, so it was pretty, interesting.
So can you spoil it for everybody?
No, I'm not gonna spoil it. I would never. But what I'm of course just gonna say is that it's pretty bloody. It's really bloody. I'm telling you that right now. Like, it's really gross in a way.
Spoiler alert! It's bloody.
There's some funny parts, but
compared to Dead Alive, how bloody is it? When you say really bloody, you might mean something totally different than when I say really bloody. So if we compare,
it's like
Dead Alive. Where does it say?
Like, it's like probably on a scale of 1 to 10, probably 6 to 7. Like, it's still there's just gross type of killings. Like, it's just it's so not
Ew.
like the
So bring your
not like the worst, but it's it's ones that just get you are like that is just freaking gross. Like heads freaking like splitting open in half, and you see like no, like it's gross. I can't. They're
Someone got scalped. Was there a scalping?
okay. You know what? I'm not gonna get too into this. I just
One
want to
kill.
talk
Give me
about that.
One kill,
There
man.
was blood, yes. There was a lot of blood, yes. I don't know how much you watched. I don't know how
I haven't seen it.
crazy
Okay, on a
you are to
scale
watch
of
all these
10
bloody
with a
movies.
10. On a scale of 1 to 10 for gore, what would be a 10 for you? What would be a 10?
What would be a 10?
Yeah.
Oof.
I want to figure out where I need to understand your metrics.
There's like a lot of scary movies that are 10. Oh my god, what's a 10? Oh my god, man. I gotta like think here, but I
It
There's,
doesn't
like,
get much
so
gorier than
many.
Rob Zombie movies.
the one with like the clown, like that one is really, really, really bloody. Even if it's a low like budget like film, it actually done really, 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 really good. And there was so much bloody moments in it. Probably like the most that like one of the most that I've ever seen.
I thought Freak Show was a very disturbing movie, and I bought it because it was at when you're at Extra Foods in Quesnel, and right at the where they have the thing you put your food on, the little escalator thing that runs to the till, and right there they got the magazines and gums and things like that. And they also for a while had discount movies, $5, right, or $2 or something like that, discount movies. So I'm standing like Freak Show, that looks like something I would watch. So I bought it for $5, and it just seems like the most hilarious place for a movie like that in retrospect to have turned out. It is
Devil.
has a disturbing end. It's I'm a pretty disturbing kind of guy when it comes to I like metal and punk rock and horror movies, and I fight fires. I don't get disturbed easily. I'm a level 3
Mark
medic.
of the Devil or Mark of the Beast?
I've like dealt with people who've had gangrene and people who've been stabbed. I've done CPR on humans. So if I say that a movie's got a disturbing end, I thought Freak Show was one of the most legitimately disturbing movies, and to see it all those years back, right there at the till of Extra Foods, the big grocery store in Quesnel, it just seemed like such a ridiculous place.
Oh yeah, I mean, like
how many people in Quesnel bought that movie and then were like just totally puked their guts out?
Bloody like films don't really scare me as like much, because I've already like watched like a lot of them, so I'm kind of like used to that and what of course might happen, and it's of course obviously not real, but in the real like world, like there is probably something like that like somewhere happening. I don't know where, but movies that scare me are like the like those haunted like house movies, kind of
ghosts.
Conjuring, like the Conjuring series, that is actually pretty scary of a series. You have all those pop-ups, and I mean, just based on the fact that it's inspired by a true like story, I mean, it's just like knowing like what actually of course happened is just kind of like it makes you wonder, right? Like it's those ones that make you wonder like what the hell actually like went on, right? Like it's just like those ones that make you wonder, that are just like scared, right? Like
I'm looking forward to the new James Bond personally. I can't wait to see that.
I got one that's real gory. It's horrible.
Rosanna Wijenberg.
Worst one ever. Rosie.
Tell me.
Call me
Rosie.
So Mark of the Devil or Mark of the Beast, it's from the 70s, and it's like this weird like exploitation film about witch hunts. And it's like this love story with like lots of big buxom like waitresses and stuff. And then they just switch to like incredibly graphic torture scenes using like real torture like materials that were like from the Middle Ages. Like they got them from some museum or something, and they handed out puke bags with it. The worst movie I ever saw. I was just, because I like my horror more like psychological and creepy and arty. And I was just like, I really want to leave, but I'm not leaving. And also, what do you think of the blur filter with my hair? It's like, no.
Oh yeah, that
only works out for some people. But Mark of the Beast or Mark of the Devil, it had like Udo Kier. Like horror god and stuff. And that one, I was just like, they were like pulling people's like fingernails out, like really graphically, and then they would go to like melting with like
okay, yeah, I can feel that.
It was horrible. The whole myth of the movie is that people were puking and the bags got like used, and like that was
People actually just left the theater. They're like, no, I can't watch this. Before it even got to puke.
It was gross. It was really gross and really disturbing, because in the movie, all the people are like, yay, he's getting crushed by like the freaking Iron Maiden. And in the audience, also people are like, yay, they're getting crushed by the Iron Maiden. And literally it's like real tools that they used on people psychologically. I found it really hard to deal with. So yeah, that was that for gore. That one was a 10, even though it wasn't necessarily, it was gross. It was gross. 10.
Oh yeah.
10.
Puking at a movie, eat something really cheap like craft dinner before the movie. That way you don't feel so bad about it. If you eat like a lobster or something, it's like, I just spent $50 on that, right? Think ahead.
I remember we went to see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids way back in maybe 1989 or 88 or something like that. And I just had this memory of Mom's boyfriend's son at the time. As we were like driving down the road back to Madoc in the darkness of the highway, and he's like, pull over, I have to pee. And then he got out. Not only did he puke in the back seat of the car, all the pop, because he ate this big bucket of popcorn, but I remember that he stood out in front of the car and was puking this pink stuff for like the longest time.
Pink stuff?
It looks like Brandon Houck has a moment when he's free. What's the give us an update on the Brooks Bandits game? Who are they playing? And talk to us about the record this year.
Guys, an update right now is I'm going to go on the air in 1 minute. 1 minute.
Oh, I almost want to hear
live.
I almost want to hear you on the air.
All right.
Yeah. Brandon Houck live on the air Thursday night. That's covering the Brooks Bandits game.
Here we go. 1 second. All right, it's now time for the out-of-town scoreboard. Beautiful night brought to you by Markin Machine. When it breaks, whether metal or plastic, Markin can remake, mill, drill, thread, or fabricate it. And into the scores we go. We're at -1 right now, so it's a cold night tonight for hockey indeed. We are up 4-0 over the Canmore Eagles as we end the second period, heading into the third period coming up next. And around the NHL, the Lightning and the Red Wings, they're in the overtime, tied at 6. The Kraken and the Predators, the Kraken up 3-2. And the Golden Knights and the Kings, they haven't played yet, but they're going to play the next half hour, I think. The Sabres and the Canadiens, Sabres leading that one 5-1. The Senators and the Maple Leafs, the Sens won that one 3-2. The Panthers and the Penguins, the Panthers won that one 5-4. And the Stars and the Rangers, 3-2 over the Rangers. The Stars won. And the Hurricanes and the Islanders, 6-3 is the winning goal for the Hurricanes tonight. And how about the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Oddies? Holy moly, 8-2. Whoa! That's the latest on the scoreboard, brought to you by Markin Machine. And Nathan Crosby will have your scoring summary coming up next on Bandits Hockey on Real Country 105.7.
Yeah, man. Like
we just got a snapshot of Brandon Houck at work.
Now I don't have to check my hockey pool. You just like told me it all.
I mean, like I want to like watch them.
Who's got something weather related to talk about? Frankie MacDonald. What have you been doing this week? Oh,
I'm doing great
Rosie
over.
does.
And I did another tornado siren video. I got 8.7 million views.
Yeah,
since
like
late September.
Frankie. Wow, how do you get so much views? Again, there's a super
Because
one.
that was my own idea.
Can you
Fire
give
truck
us
sound too?
Can you give us the tornado siren, Frankie? Yes, that's a pretty conservative tornado siren.
He does it much better on video, trust me.
Let her rip, Frankie. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Nice. I mean,
my video cut out when he did it.
Does one of his neighborhood, the whole neighborhood will probably think that there's a tornado coming to Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I know. They're gonna.
Rosie says that she's got something weather related to talk about.
Well,
Ooh,
you guys, like, we got the northern interior BC, but we didn't have the southern interior BC, and I've been all over it, and our snow levels are dropping. I got up into, like, I just got up to about 1500 meters, not even, maybe 1250 up at Revelstoke, and we were into a good half a foot of snow, trying to scout out blocks and whatnot, and so it was absolutely beautiful. I am working on trying to get into forest, and everybody's firewooding around here, and everybody's freaking out.
I'm here too.
Yeah, this is
here the whole time.
firewooder. And so everybody's just freaking out because the snow is really low. And we've had that like the last couple of years where we get a big snowfall, kind of we're in cold around this time, and then it warms up. But it's always a panic, and you just got all your stuff out in the yard, and you're just not ready. So we're just hoping it warms right back up. But the snow levels looking up from here, we're about 900 in Ymir, and I'm looking up, it's maybe 1400. So we've definitely seen the colder temperatures in the southern interior.
I've been cutting through snow.
1,200 meters here in Wells, and
Oh, yeah.
we have snow.
I want more snow. I want more snow. It's my first year teaching skiing. I want all the snow. I just don't want
Okay,
it
okay, it's fair. That's, yeah.
right now. I'm like,
same,
it's too
same.
early. Got stuff to do.
Well, I'm saying it's.
Don't come here. It sucks.
Oh, more snow is definitely better.
Yeah, there's other echo.
It's been early here. So from where I am and my trailer out in 35 kilometers west, it's just, yeah, there was snow out there a lot. I went out there tonight to try to finish winterizing it. There was a lot of snow on the ground. Not in PG, it all melted, but I'm not looking forward to it because I know it's coming, and it's coming early this year.
I think it's going to be a brutal winter.
Do you at least have ski hills that are good up there or anything like that? I know snowmobiling is big and what.
Where I am, we have the Blue Mountains. That's all I know, and that's also.
My favorite around
Southern
here is
Ontario.
Troll Ski Hill, and it's between Quesnel and Wells, and it's about $40 some odd per day, and it's got great powder actually, and 1,800 feet vertical. So it's a good little ski run. It's family owned. It does have it is the highest T-bar ski hill in the world, I believe. It's two separate T-bars.
Wow.
Two separate T-bars,
Wow.
but that's why it's so cheap to go there partly. And the good thing about that is it keeps all the Prince George people going up to the Pine Pass, up to Powder King.
Okay.
Joey, you have to tell me where that ski hill is.
It's right between Quesnel and Wells.
I was up at the ski hill north of Lac La Hache this year. I was up there. What's it called? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Green Mountain or something.
I forget. But it was tiny. And I was offered really good work up in the Caribou. And the reason I turned it down, which I'm kind of sad because it's awesome up there, was the lack of ski hills. Plus, you get like minus 20, minus 30 while you're skiing. That's hard. That's hard.
That is just what I hate about skiing too, because
Mount Timothy. That's the mountain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just a small community run, community sort of hill, kind of like the one you got in Salmo there, right? It's not a real deal ski hill,
Yeah.
but Troll Hill is a real deal. It's got many runs. It's got tons of terrain. So if you find yourself in the Prince George area looking for a really great place with great powder and, like I say, over 1,800 vertical feet, you want to come to Troll Ski Hill and support Len and Hilda, the owners. It's been a family-owned business since her dad built it in 1970. So
awesome.
Or 72, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out this year.
I'm gonna have to check
The
that
best
out.
ski hill in Ontario is
Them
Sault
folks.
Ste. Marie, just 40 minutes outside of Sault Ste. Marie. Go there, Gabriel. Drive up to Sault Ste. Marie and go skiing at Sault Ste.
Oh
Marie.
yeah, man,
You will
that's
not
a bit
regret it.
far
That's the
for
best.
me. That's a bit far for us.
Talking
We live
about
in the south type
Salmo,
of Ontario.
Salmo Ski Hill. I patrol there. Don't knock it. That hill is super cute, and the Bunny Hill is ridiculous. If a kid can learn to ski on that Bunny Hill, they're great. They're fine. It's
Because it sucks.
yeah, it's a bad ski.
Oh yeah. Hey, I mean, look, and then after Halloween, there is Christmas time. November 1st, start start just playing those Christmas movies on like right after the day of Halloween. Trust me, it works.
No.
No,
I'm not.
Hallmark ones?
Out cold.
Oh yeah, we had Out Cold, Salmo Ski Hill. Out Cold, classic ski movie. Watch it.
Ski movie. This.
Got
I
the
know this
bullies. It's got the like.
Bullies.
Is that the one where they all
got-
fart in the hot
It's got
tub?
the
all
bad
at once?
corporate owners that are trying to buy the family-owned ski hill.
Played by the $6 million man, whose name I don't remember. Is Steve Austin? That's the character's name. But the actor is the millionaire.
Anyway,
Jason
Salmo
Rose.
Ski Hill. Don't knock it. T-bars.
I wasn't knocking it.
Don't knock it.
All I was saying is it's a small sort of community ski hill, right? That's what its role is. I'm not knocking it at all. Just saying that the next step up is sort of like a family-owned larger operation, which is what I would call Troll, right? So there's a number of these smaller ski hills around British Columbia that are like what I would call community ski hills. I'm not knocking
And
them.
they're the. No, I was just teasing you, Joey. They're
I'm
the
just saying
best.
there is mega snow at Troll Ski Hill here. There's already snow on the hill right now.
So excited. I gotta come visit. That sounds great.
I would love that. You
Yeah.
and Jason Rose, who's hiding in the. What are you? Are you in outer space there?
I was trying these filters because since there was a blur and stuff, and I feel like science. Ooh, science. I got space. There was
Science,
like,
yeah.
there was no forest filter for like what I do, so I was just like, yeah.
Frankie MacDonald, what have you been doing this week?
I went
Hey,
for walks
Ymir-
and things like that, and I was on Base Guys show on Wednesday. That was my second Base Guys show since July 21st, 2021.
What other shows were you on this week?
Roger the Wild Child podcast this Sunday past. I was on one of the shows on Monday. Plus, I was doing a Gary and Dino show on Wednesday. Plus, I was doing the ham radio.
Yeah,
Shuli show too,
Frankie.
Frankie. Shuli show, right, Frankie? Last time.
Shuli show. I did last Tuesday. I did a Shuli show. Not this week, but last week I was on his show.
Who is Shuli Egger?
Shuli Yeager. He's the producer of the. He's the guy who started the Shuli show
What did he do
Mhm.
before the Shuli show?
Stand up, I think. Stand up, like
and doing all
Comedy.
the viral things like comedy, weather, dance, and things like that.
I thought he was on that Howard Stern show or something like that.
he was, but I think it was like a while ago. Like I don't know how long ago, but he was, but I don't know how long ago he was.
I'd like to think of this show as being like the Howard Stern of Canadian weather.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean,
Parallel.
Except maybe not transphobic and like a total dick.
Yeah, well, that's definitely not me.
How
Well,
do you draw a parallel to Howard Stern by sharing none of the traits? I love Howard Stern. Just saying. I absolutely love Howard Stern, but we have nothing in common with his show.
I don't know, man.
Yay!
I never really listened to any radio podcast on the radio. All, of course, we just listen to is music. I don't want to really listen to someone. I mean, okay, well, look, no, look, Joey, look, I obviously love our show, but like, we don't really have our channels to listen to any other podcasts but songs on our radio here up in, well, I mean, where I, of course, live. So we just, of course, end up listening to music. That's all we listen to is in our car.
Brandon Houck looks like he's not busy for a moment. Give us an update on the game and talk to us about the Brooks Bandits and Brooks Alberta, the Brooks Bandits season so far.
Hold on, 2 seconds. I gotta turn the volume down there. Okay. All right. So, what was the question again?
Question is, talk to us about the Brooks Alberta, the Brooks Bandits season so far, and an update on the game before the show ends here.
4-0. We just started the third period, so I have some time now until someone decides to score. But so far we're good on that. So yeah, we're up 4-0 in the game, and season so far we've had about 7 wins in a row. We've only lost 1 game so far this season, so it's we're like first place in the HL here.
Where do I?
Tune in here on the radio, Real Country 105.7.
Yeah, I know. I'm not in my car right now, and I'm not in the radio right now.
You have to listen to it
All right.
online.
Oh, say score. Hold on. Score. Oh, Canmore scored. Ooh. Oh, Brooks scored. No, never mind. We scored.
Okay, like
In a away game. 5-0.
5-0.
Well
Wow.
done. All right, I'm back.
What is that? The major junior hockey you're in there?
Yeah, junior hockey. Alberta Junior Hockey League. Yeah.
Maybe
So,
we're less than.
They play like teams like
Oh, it's league all. Okay,
East.
okay.
BC has a team like this one too.
Yep.
West Kelowna Warriors, Penticton V's. Yeah.
What were you saying? How many teams are in the league?
This is each province has a different junior A team, so we all play together in the national championship. So we won that in 2019. Actually, won the national championship here. Before
Oh, wow.
or the Medicine Hat Tigers or the Lethbridge Hurricanes. No,
How about the Trail Smoke Eaters?
Legendary.
Legendary Trail Smoke Eaters.
Trail Smoke Ears.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about that team either.
Ah, missing out.
Won the
They
Olympics.
went to the Olympics.
Yes, they sure did. And they
Back in
just got to go
1953.
and have their first game post-COVID. They just got to go back in just recently, and everybody's very happy in Trail and the surrounding areas.
Well, hopefully they don't play the Brooks Bandits. They'd lose 17-0 first game, like Forbes did. 17-0, yeah.
That's
Has that ever happened?
It happened this season.
Ouch.
That is just crazy to score 17 points in a game of hockey. It looks like, right?
Okay,
I was
because
so tired, and it was just too entertaining. I couldn't leave.
it's going to take me some editing to make a conversation out of some of this, but that's what
Oh
I
yeah,
do.
no, Joey. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Joey.
I'm real bad at this whole thing. It's like, it's really hard to get a word in edgewise, and I feel like I did a bad job. I'm sorry, Joey.
I need to start instituting policy. There's a thing down here on reactions called raise a hand. You can raise a hand when you want to talk. We may have to start.
You have to
start
Hey.
I was
instituting.
doing this thing where I raise a finger because that's what we do in all our little like happy PC
It's just like
environmental
on the Gary
meetings.
Dino
Just
show.
raise a
Don't
finger
raise your
and say,
actual hand. Raise the virtual hand just like I do with Gary and Dino show.
That's right. The Gary Nino show, they have the virtual hand that you raise. See, and the audience can't see it, but look, you can see. I got
Yeah,
my virtual hand up.
Yeah, I saw it.
And it's down
I
the
love
bottom
it
in
Yeah,
reaction.
over here.
Thanks, Joey.
Yeah,
we
that's
don't
what I
often
kinda-
have. We don't often have 10 people on. We don't often have CBC Meteorologist Johanna Wagstaffe
that
on.
was the best.
We often have Gabriel Berardo, Imogen Bailley on. We don't often have Karen Richards on. We don't often have Rosie Wijenberg on. We always have Frankie MacDonald on. That's the show.
Always.
And
I
we don't often have Olivier, who's up in Kugluktuk, on. That's been a number of months since I've seen him. So you never know what you're going to get with the show. We almost always have Brandon Houck on, radio weatherman over in Brooks, Alberta. The Comedeorological
yeah.
Report. You're listening to it on 88.7 FM in Prince George and 95.9 in Winnipeg, CKUW. Thanks so much for joining the show, where we try to keep it a bit of a comedy / meteorology related, a lighthearted look at the weather. Because you know what? You need to have a place. There needs to be a place in Canada for everyone to complain about just how much the weather sucks.
Yeah.
This is
yeah.
your radio show that represents that. How much does the weather suck? Any last words?
A lot.
Yeah.
You know,
That's over here. I mean, there's nothing interesting going on.
How much does the weather suck, Frankie?
Did you hear about that? And hailstorm, that's one of them. Then hail can hurt somebody.
How much does the weather suck, Brandon Houck?
Boo.
Sucks
Oh, come on.
bad, eh?
It's
I mean,
awesome. Super
Imogen says
awesome.
Imogen says it's awesome.
I feel like it would have been wildly inappropriate to ask Joanna about the reality of Sharknadoes. I'm just really hung up on that right now. Frankie,
Dude,
last week.
but it's not unrealistic. Like animals
know.
get caught up in like in weather patterns, and they get drunk. It's not
Oh, yeah, like
unrealistic.
fish in like a water spell, right? Like fish could get like tossed up in a water spell, right? Like yeah, like something like that.
She would love it. She wants to be asked about Sharknadoes.
I think
She
so.
works on BBC.
Oh yeah.
You just got to make sure when a sharknado is coming at you, you just really want to hope that their mouths are closed when they hit you. Nothing getting hit by a shark at 300 kilometers an hour with its mouth open. That's a definite death sentence.
If
You know
I
what?
was
I feel like that would be
CBC, if I was
faster.
for CBC, I would want to be asked about sharknadoes.
I'm sure she'll come back on sometime, and we'll be glad to have her. Of
Talk
course.
about sharknadoes.
I think,
Yes.
I'd be stoked. I'd be like,
think 'cause
oh,
I've-
thank God somebody's asking me about sharknadoes.
I think as I've appeared on CBC twice so far this year on her shows, she still owes me another one. So I think that's how it
You've
works.
done good.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
I'd be so stoked. I'd be like, climate change, everything's shitty, lots of bad climates. And then somebody asked me about sharknadoes. I'd be like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I'd be so happy. Or maybe not.
when
Maybe
of
she gets
course-
asked about sharknadoes all the time.
You know what? Maybe I'll just
maybe.
maybe frog rain. What's the occurrence? Have we had frog rain anywhere in North America recently? I want to know.
Yeah.
We're wondering about this.
It's probably been a while.
I mean, yeah. You could always obviously, tell when there's a news like when there is a weather like woman or a news like person by their, of course, like their voice is always like the same as the other ones almost, so you could kind of tell well she's definitely from the news. You could even just tell.
It's
What
funny,
kind of
it's
strange
like
things,
but
Frankie?
the whole thing like about people's voices on the news, in like for the longest time where we live, the voices on the news had to be like no accents, no nothing. And then there was like a whole thing to change that and whatnot to like have it be more inclusive. So that what you're talking about, the whole thing about like voices on the news being exactly the same is actually a really big freaking issue.
Oh yeah, right. Like they are. Like I could not tell which one's which from the Weather Network if they were all talking.
You couldn't see it.
Each and I just couldn't see. Yeah.
You could not be a weather person if you did. If you had an accent, but you could not be a weather person if you had some kind of like colloquial accent, or if you were talking with like any kind of like, I don't know, like if you were not like white, freaking like whatever. That was a big thing in news reporting forever. And there was like obviously CBC has made a big change around that, but like yeah,
the cadence.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
They also have the same cadence. That's a big thing. Is the pacing. It's not just the accents; it's the pacing. And like if you switch between different news shows on different channels, you'll see that like the pacing. I hate it.
Good evening.
I don't like the
I'm a
readers.
white man, and this is the news. Frankie MacDonald, tell us how to find you on the internet.
My Twitter's @FrankieMcD. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Facebook public figure page with a blue check mark is Frankie MacDonald. And my Instagram is Frankie McD1984. My TikTok is Frankie Down 1984. My Snapchat is Frankie MACD, and my Clapper is Frankie MacDonald. My Twitch is Frankie MacDonald 1984. My LinkedIn is Frankie MacDonald, and my YouTube channel is Dogs and Wolves. Best luck to you. I'm Frankie MacDonald. You're listening to the Comedian Meteorological Report.
I'm Joey Only, and thank you for coming on, everybody. Thank you for listening, everyone. And you can find the video version of this show on my YouTube, Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude. And of course, if you live in British Columbia, please join us on Facebook on the Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers groups. Thanks for coming on, everyone. We'll see you next week. Have a good week.